I love the language, I love the culture, I love the food, and I love the uniqueness of the program that we offer, which emphasizes the importance of a bicultural, bilingual education and social work, which I think is, and I hope, is a wave of the future. This issue is in part personal for me. My sons are from Honduras. They have skin that is considerably darker than mine. One of them was recently stopped at a so-called safety check. There have been roadblocks set up all around Dalton, primarily in neighborhoods where Latinos live, primarily right outside carpet factories where they must go back and forth. There, you will not find them in white majority neighborhoods. The mayor, who I interviewed for this presentation, the chief of police, who I've spoken with, say that this is nothing to do with racial profiling, nothing to do with anything except public safety. Well, wouldn't you know it, guess who's more likely to be stopped? And one of these people included my son, who came to the United States when he was 5 months old, okay, and as a US citizen. He had a driver's license with him. He was stopped and detained at a safety check for more than an hour while they verified his citizenship in a national database in Washington, D.C. He was terrified. He's not the only one. Stories like this have happened over and over and over. Okay. And I can tell you more stories of blatant racism in the community, but I'm going to move on for now. One of the most insidious products of this legislation, HB 87, and we'll talk about what the law does in a minute, is, to my mind, it has emboldened the voices of hatred. Much of this comes out in so-called journalism in the newspaper. And I want to read you a brief one. This was actually last summer. It was written by an Atlanta journalist by the name of Dick Yarborough. And his article gets published in the Dalton Sunday paper. And it was a particularly hot summer. This is not this immediate past summer, but the summer before. That same summer, I, along with a group of 14 students, went to Jalapa, Mexico. We had an incredible time there. And I just came back, and then I came across this article. And I'll just read a very small portion, because he's complaining about the heat. He said, "If I wanted this much heat, I would have gone to Mexico, except I don't think they would let you speak into their country, least you sneak into your country, least you try to take advantage of their healthcare system, attend their crackerjack schools, and make them have to put up with 'we speak English' signs. Besides, you might get unexpectedly air-conditioned by the drug cartels that are running the country rather than the guy who came to Congress to tell us what a poor job we are doing of running our country." So this got my juices flowing, and I wrote back to him, and I said, and this is more than ever relevant today, I take issue with Dick Yarborough's mean-spirited description of Mexico in his Viewpoint article. He begins innocently enough saying, if I wanted this much heat, I would have gone to Mexico. But then he goes off in a rant maligning Mexico's healthcare and educational system. Its president, and in hyperbolic tones, declares that drug cartels are running the country. I spent much time in Mexico this past July. I felt safe and secure at all times. I was also impressed by the positive quality of its health care, which is a constitutional right, by the way, for all citizens, and educational systems and the weather. It was 20 degrees cooler. But there is no need, and this is really the point I want to make, there's no need for competition. It isn't necessary to pit one location or one culture against another. It is possible to love and appreciate Georgia and Mexico as I do. The last time I checked, we were all living on the same planet. One more thought. Given that more than 40% of Dalton's population is Latino, with K through 12 figures significantly higher, and as I said, it's over 2/3, I suggest that Mr. Yarbrough recognize his present and future audience and open his heart to an increasingly diverse society. So that's a lot of where I'm coming from, and that's a lot of the mentality that we are dealing with, those of us who live in Dalton. Okay. One thing I want to address, because some people may find it strange to hear the term Latino as opposed to Hispanic. Okay, and in different parts of the country, Latino is preferred, and in other parts, Hispanic is preferred. And I prefer Latino, and I will tell you why. Although it's not like a politically correct thing that really ruffles my feathers, but I'd like people to understand why I prefer Latino and why many folks do. Hispanic and Latino are adjectives used to describe people who come from different countries and different cultures and social-political histories, and who in their own countries of origin would never describe themselves that way. They are Cubanos, they are Chicanos, they are Mexicanos, they are Puerto Ricanos, Costa Ricans, Nicaraguans, Salvadorians, Guatemalans, Brazilians, and people of all other nationalities who make up South America, Central America, and the Caribbean. Proclaiming their nationality is very important to them, to all Latinos. It provides a sense of pride and identity, which is reflected in their stories they tell, their music, their art, and their literature. Hispanic refers to the influence of the Spanish culture and language on a group of people who suffered years of colonization. In contrast, Latino or Latina, that's masculine, feminine, does not refer to Spain, but rather Spain's former colonies in Latin America, indicating people who come from South America, Central America, and Mexico, including territories in the U.S. that were taken from Mexico. And for those of you who may not know, states Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California used to be part of Mexico. Okay? And we could say that it still is Mexico. The United States just moved the border. Also Caribbean islands. Now, geographically, Hispanic is preferred in the southeast where we're living today. You will find most people in Georgia using that term, and much of Texas. New Yorkers use both Hispanic and Latino. Chicago prefers Latino. The word Hispanic has been barred from the leading newspaper in Los Angeles, the Los Angeles Times. You will not see it. Politically, Hispanic belongs to the right and some of the center, while Latino belongs to the left and the center. Latino has gender, which is Spanish, as opposed to Hispanic, which follows English rules. Okay, so that's some of my, I'm not on a huge soapbox about that, but I think Latino is more respectful, it's more genuine, and it's also more accurate. Okay, now again, we're still hoping for a couple people to join us, but I'm going to press on with just a few more words, and then we're going to move to America? Ah, qué buena. Siéntense aquí, por favor. Okay. Bendiga a Dios. Okay. To my immediate right is America Grunner, who's the director of CLILA, and she's going to add greatly to today's presentation. Okay, qué bueno. Okay, so more specifically to give you background about HB 87. The law went into effect July 1st of this year, 2011. It authorizes, and I'm putting that in quotes, it authorizes law enforcement to check the immigration status of a suspect, and I'll put that in quotes too, because who is a suspect is